On your Tuesday episode of Locked On Raptors, that's a win, baby. The Raptors snap their 7-game streak as RJ Barrett plays closer.
You are Locked On Raptors, your daily Toronto Raptors podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's going on? And welcome to another episode of Locked On Raptors, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It is Tuesday, November the 19th, and I'm your host, Sean Woodley. I've been covering the Toronto Raptors now for 11 seasons on various platforms. You can find all my work over on Blue Sky, the non-hell website. It's so nice over there, talking ball with our pals without getting screamed at. Come hang out at woodleyshawn.bsky.social. You can also go to Instagram, find the show at Locked On Raptors, posting some clips and stuff over there, or I'm trying to be better about that. You can find us in the Discord. Link in the description of the podcast is free to join. We'd love to see you there. And of course, you can subscribe to the daily and free Locked On Raptors newsletter, where I'm writing every day. Sometimes I'm doing screeds about the Boston Celtics amoral basketball. Sometimes I'm doing stuff about the Raptors themselves. It's all in there. I would love to see you join us and support the newsletter, support writing. It's a great thing to do, and I appreciate y'all doing it so much. Today's show is brought to you by friends over at PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today and use the code LOCKEDONNBA and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. And we will get things rolling here on your Tuesday edition of the show, coming at you late after the Raptors took down the Indiana Pacers 130-119 to snap a 7-game losing streak to move to a gaudy 3-12 on the season, 3.5 games back of the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference, baby. The climb starts now. The Wizards and the Sixers behind them in the win percentage standings as well. It's all looking up here for your 3-12 Toronto Raptors. And here to talk about this absolute juggernaut of a basketball team is our pal, Vivek Jacob from Sportsnet and his wonderful Raptors in 7 newsletter. Big V, how are you doing this fine Tuesday night? Wait, is it Monday night? It is Monday night. I don't know the days. They won. Who knows? Who cares what day it is?
Any day that the Raptors can win is precious. Took down
especially Pascal after Saturday, right?
Like, yeah, definitely after Saturday. Obviously, the 2-minute report, the infamous 2-minute report. Yeah, really fun performance in that game. Couldn't come away with the win. So you get a Pacers team that is dealing with some injuries, but also just doesn't seem to have any commitment to playing like just a tiny bit of responsible basketball.
They're a prank team. They always have been a prank team. It's just being exposed because none of their head players are healthy right now.
Yeah, and man, I think that's the thing is, like, with this Raptors team this season, you know they're going to come out and play hard, and if you show up with that kind of lackadaisical effort, you're going to get punished for it. And that's what happened.
Sure was. We're going to get into all of it on today's show. We're going to get into Jakob Poeltl putting up more ridiculous tilted stat lines. We're going to get into the good, the bad, and the from this game. But we should probably start with RJ Barrett because, man, oh man, this might have been his most complete game as a Toronto Raptor. Certainly in this stretch of being the lead guy. Yeah, he was awesome in that game against the Kings. Maybe that's a close contender the last time the Raptors won. But RJ Barrett in this game, 39 points, 13 of 21 overall, 4 of 8 from downtown, 9 of 12 from the line. You'll take small incremental steps and free throw shooting for him as well. A cool 75%. You'll live with that. 9 boards, 5 assists, had 5 turnovers. But to me, Big V, the takeaway here was this was a game that it looked like it might slip away from the Raptors doing the thing they've done all year where they go into the fourth quarter with like a 10-point lead and just can't lock it down. Seemed like it was teetering towards that in the middle part of the fourth quarter. The Pacers cut it to 7 at 106-99. RJ Barrett comes in out of the timeout, instant personal 5-0 run, finishes with 14 points after subbing in and to wrap up with those 39. Really, really impressive stuff from him. And not so much doing it with the pass in this game like he has in the last couple. This one was just, I'm RJ Barrett. I'm going to score on you, and there's nothing you can do about it. What were your overall takeaways and impressions of RJ Barrett in this one?
Just looked in complete control. I think when you look at some of the physicality that both RJ and Grady have had to deal with against some tough defenses, to have this Pacers defense was just what the doctor ordered.
Like knocking down the difficulty level 2 to 3 notches. Yeah. Oh, we're on rookie mode now. Great.
And all of a sudden, the efficiency is up. The looks from 3 are up. And I think he just had that perfect blend of, being able to find guys like Battle and Grady and all the guys on the outside for threes. And then, when guys are making shots, Raptors shot 48% from 3, 14 to 29.
You love that.
It just makes that drive game that much easier, right? And it's like, now you got a real dilemma. It's like, hey, do I commit? Do I stick with the shooter? Do I help? And that's where RJ can really go to work. And I think, again, the pacing in the pick and roll with Yak is just excellent. And he's just mastered sort of that little hesitation, that little sort of almost purposeful indecision that leaves a defender wondering, hey, what's coming? And then he's going up with force, or he's finding Yak on the roll.
Yeah, man, it's been pretty masterful to watch him operate pick and roll. And yeah, like you've mentioned, a very unorthodox fashion. He's not pulling the defense apart because they're terrified of him pulling up for 3. In fact, if he's going to pull up for 3, the defense is thrilled because he cannot hit pull-up threes to save his life. But once he starts getting in past the nail, he just kind of gets that deep position. You got to be worried about him kind of going and make that quick last step with the left to finish. And because of that threat, Jakob Poeltl hanging out there in the lane, like it's just a difficult thing to account for if you're a defense. And then, like the reads he's making out of that to kick it out when it's there, a couple of that were maybe a little bit misguided tonight, but overall, I mean, you go over the weekend, the 2 games he played, 22 assists to 2 turnovers. I think he was due for at least a couple turnovers to rack up in this one. It's just been really fun to watch him figure out this like lead ball handler stuff kind of on the fly. There have been some bumps in the road. The efficiency is still not quite there, though tonight will certainly help. My question to you, Big V, is like, what does this mean for when the team gets healthy again? And, full health, that seems maybe a bit further away. Emmanuel quickly, I don't think is going to be back imminently necessarily. Darko Rajakovic said we'll get some word in the next couple days about the other injured guys, Kelly Olynyk, Bruce Brown, Scottie Barnes, obviously the big one. Let's just frame this through Scottie Barnes, who feels like he'll be back before Emmanuel quickly at this point. We have no idea, but just going by the timeline for the orbital injury and the fact that he's already been working out with a mask, like it seems like he's maybe inching towards a return. What do you do, A, with just the lineup when he comes back? Is this you move Davion Mitchell and just ask RJ Barrett to be the point guard situation, considering what he's done when he's been asked to essentially be the point guard for this team? Or is it something where, all right, we'll move Ochai or Grady Dick to the bench and just kind of maintain the defensive integrity? I think it's an interesting question. And then sort of how it all blends together once everyone's back with RJ Barrett with this newfound pick and roll craft, I think is a really fascinating thing too that we can maybe examine.
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. First off, I think inching is the correct word to use. I don't think Scottie will be back for at least a couple of weeks since he isn't really taking contact yet.
Yeah,
I'm kind of thinking, if I had to guesstimate right now, I'd probably look towards that December 1st, starting out that home stretch.
Sure.
And skipping the road trip. But yeah, I do think that is a fun way to get all the guys who are playing well together. And you have Scottie in for Davion, and between Scottie and RJ, you feel like you probably have enough of that playmaking in there, right? And then you have Ochai, who looks extremely comfortable in the corners now. And I love the fact, by the way, it's like, oh, shot clock's winding down. How do we just get a drive going and kick it out to Ochai in the corner?
Well, reliable, man. He is the single most trusted man on this basketball team. It's awesome.
and then you mix that up with Yak and could definitely see some fun basketball with that unit. So I would be definitely in favor of just going with the best guys. And maybe it makes things a bit interesting defensively, especially, say if you're going up against those really, really quick point guards in terms of how those matchups stack up. But
that's what Ochai's for, baby.
Well, hey, Grady and RJ are gonna have their work cut out for them with the other two guys.
Just a little bit, yeah. No, I'm with you though. I think that's the move. It's just we've seen Jamal Shead struggle a little bit. Hopefully he's okay. Took a big spill tonight, came back into the game, but hopefully tomorrow morning he wakes up and I guess his wrist is what he landed on. Hopefully that feels a little bit better. We're still recording very close after the buzzers, so we don't have all the post game information in yet. But yeah, I think Mitchell kind of just assuming the backup point guard role and Shead maybe taking his turn with the 905. I think that's probably the move. And I think that makes sense considering Shead, I think, has kind of realized, oh, I'm a rookie. I got some stuff to figure out. And I think, Mitchell's done a fine enough job. I haven't been thrilled with the job he's done. There were some of those passes that make me completely want to throw my computer out the window as I'm watching the game in this game as well. But overall, yeah, I think he's done enough to just kind of assume that backup point guard role, and you feel pretty good about it. It's probably more of a bridge we cross later when it comes to what happens when quickly RJ and Scottie are all back and healthy, because I do think the sort of interplay between those three is a little more interesting now that RJ kind of has this newfound on-ball craft. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think having multiple guys who can create for you is awesome, and quickly can play on or off the ball. We know this. Scottie can kind of do the wing thing as well and slash. I think RJ as a second side creator is a really interesting guy to think about now too. I think it could all kind of fit harmoniously together. We'll see how it all fits when and if they get healthy, because that's still a long ways off, it seems. We'll come back on this side here, Big V. We got to talk about Jakob Poeltl, who is insane. He's basically Shaq out there. We'll talk about what he's doing. Is he doing anything differently from being Jakob Poeltl, or is it just opportunity? We will get into that coming up in just one sec. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at PrizePicks, the single best place to play daily fantasy sports. It's super simple. It's super fun. You should go check it out, because right now you can go up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. All you got to do is pick more or less on the PrizePicks projections for the athletes that you want to go and put some money on, whether it's for football, whether it's for basketball, whether it's for any sport under the sun. You can go and do that. And PrizePicks is the best way to get in on action in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas for our American listeners. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When your picks hit, you can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. So download the app, use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that's the code LOCKEDONNBA when you download the PrizePicks app to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Back at it here with Big V, Vivek Jacob from Sportsnet and Raptors in 7. Jakob Poeltl, boy, oh boy, he's on a heater right now. 30 points, 15 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, plus 18 in the game against the Pacers. 13 of 18 overall. It wasn't so much death by push shots in this one as it was just death by walking in for layups and pick and roll action. We call it pick and roll now, by the way. That's the name of the play. That's canon. Pick and roll. It rolls right off the tongue. Good. Don't say anything otherwise. It's good. Big V, what the hell's going on with Yak? Why is he so awesome? Is it anything different from what we've seen, or is this just a function of he's playing more minutes than ever, as a really smart guy who wears glasses predicted before the season when we did our over-unders projection? Or is it something new? Is there a wrinkle in his game that you're noticing that's making him that much more effective?
I think they're just really spamming the pick and roll. I think it's as simple as that. I think they know that they just need the scoring, and this is proving an extremely effective and efficient way to get it. I think you were so used to seeing Yak at the elbows and just like being this hub of the offense, and
which he still is a lot.
Yeah. But I think he's also recognizing just way more opportunities. And I think that's something that you kind of there's always that bit of mind games with unselfish players and how they value their own offense. I think there's times where, even with Kyle Lowry, we've seen it, right? Steve Nash has talked about, after watching Steph, I wish I shot the ball way more. And I think, I'm talking about point guards in that instance, but he kind of has almost that mindset of just being super unselfish and getting guys involved. And so I think now he's really embracing that role of saying, hey, like I need to score for this team to have any kind of hope offensively. and that's opening so much more up, right? We talked about guys when they're making outside shots, how that eases the driving game. But again, I think there is a point to what Mazzulla said the other night when they played Boston about, hey, like we're so focused on RJ and Grady that we'll kind of live with Yak taking it, and obviously some of that is what we're seeing. But the efficiency with which he's scoring, if you're the Raptors, you take it too.
1,000%. And yeah, I think, you saw the effects of this was part of why RJ was able to go off down the stretch, right? Is they were very clearly terrified of Yak, trying to wall off the passes to him in the lane as best they could as the game progressed after he cooked them in the first half. And when you're shading just a little bit further towards Jakob Poeltl, like RJ Barrett's got extra lanes and he can, turn to the left and back down and sort of have counters that aren't there when they're a little bit more shaded towards him and Yak's there kind of operating in space. It's funny how this team game of basketball works and how being good at one thing helps your other pals be good at their stuff too. I don't think it's really anything new. This is just Jakob Poeltl kind of just supersized, right? He's playing more minutes. He's getting more touches because it's needed within the context of this team right now. And he's also playing with a pick and roll partner who's really good with him. Like they have excellent chemistry. We saw it in the first possession of this game where they run pick and roll and instantly it's just a dart to Yak for a dunk. And I think, having guys to play with who complement him, like it's not really been a thing for much of Jakob Poeltl's time with the Raptors. You think of the back part of the season, the sort of last time he had, I think, a guard consistently working with him who was this effective as RJ is, it was Fred VanVleet. And that was a really good stretch of Jakob Poeltl ball. The start of last year, Dennis Schroeder was not it. It just didn't work. After the OG trade, it got a little bit better because Quickly was a really nice pairing for him, but they barely played together because Yak got hurt and then didn't come back for a little bit. And then they just never quite established that chemistry. It really excites me what it's going to look like here with Poeltl once everyone's available, because everyone in the starting five is like a beautifully harmonious fit with Jakob Poeltl. Grady working in the sort of off-ball game and flying around the screens he sets for him. The RJ Yak pick and roll, the Scottie Yak pick and roll, which is really effective, even though it's kind of an orthodox. Then the RJ Yak pick and roll, the IQ stuff. Like it's really interesting what this lineup's going to be able to do once they're healthy. And I frankly am just like itching to see it, man. There's so much interesting stuff happening with this skeleton crew. I want to see all the different parts of the skeleton put together like the dinosaur in the museum. Finish this sentence for me. Jakob Poeltl has been the blank best center in the Eastern Conference this season.
Ooh.
I have an answer. I'm curious if you have the correct answer.
Man, I was not ready for that question.
I know. I wanted to spring this one on you.
Let's see. So I guess if you're counting Cat as a center, he would have to be the best one right now.
I would say Jarrett Allen probably better than Cat in terms of like overall impact, but
yeah,
those are the two I would say, the clear 1-2.
Yeah, so yeah, those are the two that come to mind immediately, and then I guess because of the Raptors win-loss record, you'd have to put Vucevic in the mix because I think he's been great for the Bulls.
He's been a disaster defensively. Like Yak's been not amazing defensively, but he's been like passable.
But I mean, you look at the win-loss record again, right? If we're factoring the impact thing, the Bulls have been not what the Raptors record is. So
yeah, they're 5-10. Yeah,
but great. So he's the only guy I'd put in the conversation for third.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Bam's been outright bad. Like
it's
true shooting at like 51% so far this year on a Heat team that's kind of a mess.
Yeah.
The answer is third. He's the third best center in the Eastern Conference right now. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, hey, Masai's top 10 comment not looking too shabby right now.
It's not looking too shabby at all. It's kind of crazy. Obviously, Joel Embiid's not playing, and Kristaps is not playing, and
Well, technically, Joker's not playing right now either.
Yeah, I mean, he'll get back; it'd be fine. Chet Holmgren obviously has been out, will be out for a bit now. So yeah, like he's benefiting from guys not being available.
Zubac has been playing well for the Clippers.
Zubac has been awesome, but that's Western Conference, baby. That's the conference with the good teams. We're not living in that reality, baby. Yak's been incredible, man. It's been super fun to watch him flourish in this sort of expanded role. And I don't think he's not going to score probably at this level. He's not going to have 3 straight 25-plus point games very often once everyone's healthy.
Hater.
That's right. Me, the noted Jakob Poeltl hater of Raptors internet, Sean, the guy who really hates Yak. I think there's no reason he can't still maintain career best numbers, I think, even when they're fully healthy, just because he's the outlet for a lot of these guys, right? He's the finisher in a lot of these possessions. They run a lot of pick and roll. They run a lot of stuff through him at the elbows. He's rolling off of that very often. And I think there's just an avenue for him to keep on putting up good numbers, because he's going to have to play a lot of minutes too, because they need him out there for 30 plus. And with the way that they have shooting now around him and the way they didn't before, you can get away with closing games with him too. And when it was just harder to do when you had like OG, Pascal, and Scottie and the sort of clog machine that was on offense. So yeah, this is good times for Jakob Poeltl. We're going to run through the good, the bad, and the thing we liked, thing we didn't like, thing that's got us a little bit intrigued about the latest Toronto Raptors game. A win! It's going to be really fun, good, bad, and We'll get to that coming up in just one sec. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel, the single best place for you to go and wager on sports if that's the thing you want to go and do. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. And you can get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel because of that wonderful offer. When you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just go to FanDuel.com to join today. Again, you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. And it's not just the NFL, of course. If you're not a football fan, I'm certainly not. You can go and throw some money down on whatever sports you want. Maybe it's the baseball season and the upcoming off season and where Juan Soto is going to sign. Maybe you want to throw some money down on some nightly puck lines on the NHL or the spreads in the NBA. Will the Raptors take the over in their games? You can throw some money down on that if that's the thing you're into as well. Again, it's all at FanDuel.com. Get $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Go check them out. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Back at it here, closing it out with the good, the bad, and the with Vivek Jacob in tow, Raptors in 7, and Sportsnet. Go check out all of his wonderful work. Big V, thing we liked, thing we didn't like, thing that's got us a little bit intrigued from the latest Raptors game, the way we wrap up every single episode of this show that comes on the heels of a Toronto Raptors basketball game. I give you the floor. What you got for your good?
Man, Garrett Temple came in and was an absolute difference maker. Like you watch, okay, if you're Obi Toppin, okay, you had an absolutely filthy dunk. I will give you that. But you should be absolutely embarrassed that you got beat to a loose ball by a diving Garrett Temple. I'm sorry. That cannot happen at all. We talked about the lack of intensity that the Pacers play. Garrett Temple dove for a ball that you were right next to. You're a man who can jump out the building, and you got beat to a loose ball by Garrett Temple.
Yeah.
And just his impact was amazing in that 4-minute stretch. I think he ended up playing 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And in those 5 minutes and 30 seconds in the second quarter was a plus 17. Then the third quarter, just when the Pacers were looking to cut into that lead, and you're starting to think, oh, here we go. Is this starting to, unravel a little bit? Darko says, no, I'm going to turn to you, Garrett Temple. Come be my savior. And what does Garrett Temple do? He gets a steal, pushes the ball down the court again, and finds battle for a 3. And it's like the bleeding has stopped. There's my
stuff. Could not ask for a better good. The best 3-3-3 2-1 line of all time.
That's a hell of a triple single.
Hell yeah. My good is a single possession that exemplifies the Toronto Raptors try hard whilst very overmatched spirit. This is in the first quarter, a possession where Jamison Battle gets the ball poked loose by Tyrese Halliburton. It goes into the backcourt. He recovers it. He almost turns it over again. And then Jamal Shead recovers it with like 4 seconds on the shot clock. He kind of had time to walk it up, or even could have just thrown to the wing for Jamison Battle to take a long three. But instead, he heaves it from over half court, hits the rim to salvage the shot clock. Jonathan Momo ends up in a board battle. I think there's a kick ball on the play. It gets blown dead. The Raptors keep the ball. RJ Barrett misses a shot coming out, and Chris Boucher gets a putback. My favorite possession of the season, an absolute tire fire that leads into 2 points for the Toronto Raptors. Again, embodying their entire spirit as a basketball team that's not so good, but tries real hard. And when you try real hard, good things happen, even on busted ass possessions like that one. What you got for your bad?
Man, so for my bad, I will say it might sound a little bit harsh, but and I'll give him a bit of a pass in knowing that he got hurt. But Jamal Shead, to me, did struggle in this one, and I think he's outside of the Celtics. He was kind of okay, but I think outside of that, he's been in a bit of a rough patch, and tonight was no better. And maybe just finding himself a little bit, and obviously he had that huge start and just had some really positive signs, and I think this has all come crashing down to earth.
Yeah, I mean, he's a rookie point guard. Rookie point guards are bad. The fact that he was as at home on an NBA floor as he was in the first week was kind of a borderline miracle, and it was always going to slow down at some point. It feels like 9:05 time is about right once they get a couple of bodies back here.
Yep.
It's very encouraging he's had the start that he's had, which is kind of all he's already done enough as a rookie for me to be like, yeah, okay, he's a guy, cool. Like, see him in February.
For sure.
Yeah, totally. My bad. Maybe the Indiana Pacers. I know they were hurt. I know they were on the second night of a back-to-back. No Miles Turner. They lost James Wiseman and Isaiah Jackson to a torn Achilles, both of them, which sucks. And so they had no bigs. Enrique Freeman's their starting center in this game. I get it. I totally get it. But they just do not have that joy and verve they had last year. Halliburton, I don't know what's going on there, man. He still has those little flashes of that sort of prancing and throwing cool passes, and the odd three goes down to make it feel like the Magic's back. But for the most part, it's been kind of disjointed, and their whole thing of we don't play defense, and it's kind of like a bit that we don't play defense. We're just going to run it down your throat whenever you score on us, and that's our defense. Like that seems to have been figured out a tad. It's just not quite working the same way it did. And with Halliburton shooting low 30s or high 20s from three, it just doesn't quite all come together. What I'm saying is free Pascal Siakam, put him on a real team, please. Hell, trade him back to the Raptors. Find a way to do it. I don't know how you do it. Chris Boucher, Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, and can you throw Jordan Nwora in? Can you sign him and send him back as retribution? I don't. Just saying. The Pacers are bad. The Eastern Conference might also just be an absolute tire fire. The Sixers lost again tonight, man, with Embiid. I don't know, man. That 6th seed, 3.5 games out. It's not crazy, baby. Once they start getting some guys back, there's a lot of teams that do not have it together in the Eastern Conference right now. What you got for your to close things out?
My is going to be a question.
I have one for you too. This is great.
Well, hopefully it's not the same one. That would be crazy if it is.
It would be awesome if it is, but what you got? Because we did. Oh, to be clear, this is not a bit. We have not conferred and shared notes on this part of the podcast going in. What you got for me?
So, someone dared Scottie Barnes to wear a Bruce Brown fit. And Scottie said,
"We do not have the same question."
And Scottie said bet, and he showed up in a cowboy outfit and looked great. And both of them looked incredible on the sidelines. By the way, it was an excellent move by TJ McConnell to knock down that little fadeaway and then do a hat tip to both of them as he ran back.
That's veteran poise and presence right there. Court awareness.
So my question to you is, if you could dare Scottie to wear a fit for the next game, what are you going with?
All right. I don't have any good takes on clothes, but I will say, look, we need the people who are public facing in the world to drive trends. And me, as a 30-something man who refuses to stop wearing skinny jeans, no matter how much people tell me they're not cool anymore, I need Scottie Barnes to roll up some skinny jeans, wear them on the sideline, make them cool again, please, because I want to be cool again. There was a time where I was cool with my skinny jeans. Not so much anymore. I get roasted when I go to coach kids at basketball. I get roasted for the skinny jeans. I'm seeing Scottie Barnes wear pants that are like 3 Bruno Fernandos wide. Like we gotta tighten those pants up, wear skinny jeans, and yeah. So please, Scottie, bring back the trend. What you wear on top, I don't really care. Just bring back the skinny jeans. It's very important for people my age. Great question. My question is: it an impromptu? What's more likely for you, Big V? Of course, this game we played on the show quite a bit. We take 2 extremes and say, hey, which of these more extreme things is the most likely thing to happen? Let me pose this to you. What's more likely? RJ Barrett or Jakob Poeltl makes the Eastern Conference All-Star team this year?
Oh, man. This is the more likely. I will go with Yak.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we've discussed the bigs in the East.
Yeah. And it's there. It's there for the taking, baby.
And so I think that just feels like the logical choice because there'll be more competition for RJ at his spot. So yeah, I would have to go with Yak. How likely is either one of them? I don't know that. I don't know that a team with the league worst record will have an all-star.
Yeah, well, again, they don't have the league worst record anymore. The Wizards and the Sixers are below them. The Jazz might also be below them now, I think.
Okay.
If not, they will be by some point because the Jazz are wretched hot ass. Yeah, they're 3-10. So yeah, they're pretty close. They're in the ballpark. If you're the 5th worst team in the league, maybe that's all-star material. Yeah, again, neither are too terribly likely to make it. I gather that, but that's the fun of this question. I think it's also Yak. Look, it would be like a Jamal McGlure, Devin Harris ass all-star nod for Jakob Poeltl, surely, getting it in a year with Joel Embiid's not playing a whole lot, where Kristaps Porzingis has been out. Obviously, it would be quite an impressive thing for him to make it. But 17 points, 12 boards, 3 assists. Guys have made all-star teams with less impressive numbers than that, considering how ridiculous his efficiency's been of late. He's up to 65% from the field. Am I reading that right? No, 61% from the field. But still, 65% at the line. Most improved player much? Yeah, it's been a treat to watch Yak, man. A ton of fun. Looking forward to all-star Jakob Poeltl. Going to be a delight. Put him in the 3-point contest, I say. Just push shots for days.
This is how you do a tank, by the way. Just lose and have everyone in line to win MIP.
Right? Yeah, they are. It is an exemplary tank job right now. There's no doubt about it. It's going to get less exemplary as they climb the Eastern Conference because everyone else is trash. But for now, they are putting together an all-time good karma tank where they're trying hard. They are in close games. They are not resting guys indiscriminately. They just have bad injury luck. And dudes are showing out in the process. So yeah, for now, elite tank job. Again, it's going to be a shame when they make the 6th seed and everyone's really, really mad about it. We'll leave it there. Big V, anything you want to promote for the good people out there?
Usual stuff. Raptors in 7. My NBA general stuff at Sportsnet. And besides that, you can follow me on Blue Sky. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me wherever at Vivek Jacob.
Hell yeah. You can find me at woodleyshawn.bsky.social on Blue Sky. I'm not doing the Twitter anymore. I still have the account open for like work reasons, but I'm not posting there anymore because it's a hellscape to post in, and all the fun stuff's happening over on the B Sky, baby. So you can find me over there. You can find the show on Instagram at Locked On Raptors. You can join the Discord, link in the description of the podcast, and of course, you can subscribe to the free daily Locked On Raptors newsletter. It's deeply appreciated when you do that. Helps me out big time. Helps us grow the Locked On thing, which we're growing. We got newsletters covering every team. It's not just the Raptors. So if you want to go and support original writing by yours truly, by Katie Heindel. It's all there for you over at the Locked On Raptors newsletter. Link in the description of the podcast. Go subscribe. With that, we'll talk to you again on Wednesday. Another episode of Locked On Raptors. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for hanging. Bye-bye. Damn.